Welcome back. Jeffrey Stevens is here with your sports news. Jeff, like many other challenges holding back our country, it seems as if we've been here so many times with Bafana Bafana.
Certainly does, yes. Only as expected, Ntseki has paid the ultimate price for Bafana Bafana's latest failure. He was sacked after South Africa failed to qualify for the 2022 Afcon finals. For more on this story, we are joined now via Zoom by Mark Williams, former prolific striker who won the 1996 Afcon with the national team. Mark, thanks so much for your time. Give us your immediate reaction to Bafana Bafana missing out on qualification for Afcon.
Well, good evening, Jeff, and thanks for having me on the channel. First of all, I've watched the Ghana game, and, when we didn't get a point, when we didn't win there, I was a bit disappointed. I knew that going away, it wasn't going to be easy, because I think a lot of times when we play at home, we're supposed to win the teams, and we don't. And then we make it difficult for ourselves to go away and expecting to get points down. In Africa, it's not easy to get points in Africa. They make it as difficult as you can. Even if a flight or a transport it takes 5 minutes, it takes them 45 minutes to make things difficult for players.
Your thoughts on Ntseki, the coach, now being made the scapegoat for the lack of performances from the national team?
Well, you say make a scapegoat. I mean, in the first place, when they selected him, I mean, I was quite surprised. I did a bit of research, found out where he was coaching and things like that. Apparently, he was doing some varsity football, but never traveled overseas. So for me, it doesn't make sense when you have a coach that doesn't have any international experience, or in Africa for that matter. So if you play against African teams, at least you know the mentality of the country, of the people, so that you can at least set up the goals. So for me, I was never a favorite of the coach, but you know what? As South Africans, we always sort of give reference and say, let's see. But I think we have seen too much, and it's been painful for an ex-player to see that Bafana can't qualify. I mean, we talked about 24 before, there was 16 countries. Now there's 24 countries, and we can't make it. That's painful.
Now, SAFA's press conference earlier today to explain their position aside from the apology to the nation. What else should we be thankful for from that press conference?
Look, I didn't hear the press conference. I don't know what decision they make on, but you know what? I think that, they were supposed to do this long ago. First of all, I mean, you get some good coaches, Yes, Gavin Hunt, we know that he went to Chiefs, but he was also putting his sort of name in that hat. And I bet you if he had to go to Africa, he would have got a point, because you need to know how to get a point. And from the team selection that I see from the coach, from the first game and the second game, it wasn't on. So, I mean, just going on there, a lot of people say that we should get the ex-players involved. My brother, there's a lot of politics to get your foot in that door. It's so difficult. I've been there many times just to try and say, listen here, get me in there. Let me train the strikers. Let me do something for Bafana. All I've got was to say that, Mark, you are the only qualified beach soccer coach in the country. FIFA beach soccer coach, you must go back to beach soccer. But that's not where my heart is. I want to see Bafana doing good. And if Bafana do good, it's good for the country, it's good for the nation, because there's hope for those people that comes from those areas where I come from, the gangsterism, the drug abuse, and just football can take you out there, and that's what it did for me. So if Bafana wins, that's what a lot of players, a lot of kids up there, it's got hope for them. And when they're not doing good, it is a very sad for South Africa sport in general.
You briefly touched on the challenges getting the former players involved at national level. You mentioned Gavin Hunt and some of the challenges. Who else would you see would be absolutely suitable to get the national team from where it is now to where it needs to be?
Look, there's probably a lot of names, I mean, they talk about Picho, they talk about Steve Compella, there's Benny McCarthy. But I think we have to start from the onset goal, is that when a player comes to the national team, and 96, the guy that played 96 must give him the jersey and say, my boy, this is the jersey that I played in. Now, when the player goes onto the field, at least it will go through his mind, because a lot of times I see players' mindset is not right. And for me is that we need to start over. Fresh. Development that starts from school level. I mean, you got SAPA fighting against the school boards because there's no school sport. I mean, school sport was number one. You could see a lot of development. So those are small things that needs to be to add up. But look, if we talk about names, there's a lot of names that you can put in the head. You know, you can say Sean Bartlett even because he's qualified and gets egg players like Nigeria did. Nigeria, when they had problems, I mean, Stephen Cassie, may so rest in peace. I played with him. He was the captain, and then he took over the Nigerian team. And then Amokachi, and they got ex-players that played the game to coach the Bafana team. So there's no egos. Remember that 1916, there was no egos. Nobody was bigger than the game. Everybody was on the same level, and Clive Barker made sure of that. So a lot of times players, they get a lot of money playing for the club level. But when they come and play for Bafana, they get 20,000, 30,000. Do you really think they're going to play and give everything? So that's the things that needs to be changed. And I've been looking and talking to Mr. Dan Jordan. I had a couple of meetings with him to say, Mr. Dan Jordan, please let me help Bafana because what they're going through, it's not nice. So yes, we need to start fresh. It's unacceptable that we every time have to be second fiddle to qualify, and we need to be number 3 in Africa and number 20 or number 30 in the world. That's because we got everything in our country.
Thanks so much. The thoughts there of Mark Williams, former striker for the national team, with his thoughts on how to get Bafana Bafana back into shape. That's your sport for the moment.